Everyone wants to know who they are and what to do with their life, but your approach in helping people find that is a little bit different. Tell us about how you guide people in that.
Well, as a coach, I work with people because, like you said, everybody wants to know who they are. But I like to start with the backwards approach because if you know who you're not and who God's not called you to be, who you are then begins to emerge and have complete freedom to walk in the giftedness and the fullness of the Spirit. We try to be too many things and we get too influenced by the culture that we see what other people are doing and we think maybe I should do that. But we shrink back and we say to God, where is it that I'm gifted? What's my it? And then once we hear from him and we eliminate all those, what I like to call, you got to know your knots. Once you eliminate the knots, who you are becomes very evident and it becomes much easier. Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
I like to know your knots.
Yeah, that's right. And Beth, you host a series on PureFlix called Life on Purpose. Tell us about that.
Well, I was on my own at 17, so I went to work. And as a result of that, I was dependent upon being successful at work because, when work is all you got, work has to work for you. So fast forward, I became a speaker in my industry because I was really good at what I did. And so people began to ask me the question, and I was just in my 20s, how did you know your purpose? Simply because it looked like I knew my purpose. So people over time, as they asked that question more and more, I had been saved, but I didn't really know what being a Christian was like. I thought, I think that's a God thing, purpose. So I told my husband, I said, I'm going to go interview people. They wake up every day. They know what God's calling them to do, and they're doing it. And I'm going to ask them front and center how they knew and how they did it. And that started in 2001. I've been doing that ever since.
That's amazing, Beth. I love it. Beth, a little real talk here now. We have all made mistakes, and some people live with the regret of those mistakes, and they think it's, takes them off of God's plan for their lives. How do you encourage people who are struggling with mistakes of the past?
Well, like you said, we've all had mistakes. Everyone that I interviewed, we all come from a broken family. We've all pretty much created a broken family because we're in a broken world. So what you have to do is you have to accept that there's just some things, purpose is a process. It's not perfection. So we have to know we're going to make mistakes. And when you're on your own at 17, I spent the first half of my life, I like to say, if it's not on purpose, is it an accident? Because so much of what we feel the consequences of is our own poor decisions. And so I lived the consequences of many of those. And then, when I began to see Christ and I began to understand there's a better path for my life. And, purpose is a mindset. It's a faith, it's a mindset, but it's committing to a path where you're going to make less mistakes and you're going to live on purpose.